down right there. And it's going to be giant walrus.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special news bulletin. The Japanese have attacked Pearl Harbor, Hawaii, by air, President Roosevelt has just announced. The attack also was made on all naval and military activities on the principal island of Oahu.
It's about time on the way. They'll spot the Dodgers 40-yard line. It's thinking out wide for the Giants. Get strong now, 10 carries, 44 yards.
Hello.
Mike?
What?
Mike?
Yes, sir. Any word on casualties? Yes, sir. No. Yes, sir. Right away, sir. Bye, sir.
Yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy. The United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked by naval and air forces of the Empire of Japan. With confidence in our armed forces, with the unbounding determination of our people, we will gain the inevitable triumph, so help us God.
Everything's in an uproar around here. Nobody knows what's going to happen next. When they say the Japanese submarine shelled Los Angeles last night.
I don't believe it.
Well, they do in California. There's absolute panic.
What do you mean by panic?
They canceled the Rose Bowl game.
Well, that's panic.
Everybody in Washington's paranoid, too. You were the first friend I called for help.
Well, Beetle, if you were really my friend, you wouldn't have called me here at all. I spent most of World War I right here in an office in this building, and I would like to spend the rest of this war up front.
Not a chance, Ike. If the old man likes you, you're stuck behind a great big desk for the duration.
Well, suppose I get him to hate me.
Then he'll stick you behind a smaller desk.
What do you have to do to get a combat command in this army? Who do I have to butter up?
I don't know, but not him.
Eisenhower, your enthusiasm for combat is highly commendable. But tell me this. Have you ever commanded a division in actual combat?
No, sir.
A battalion?
No, sir.
A company?
No, sir.
A platoon?
No, sir.
In your entire career in World War I, did you ever hear a shot fired in anger?
How could I, sir, when I never left this building?
Well, Eisenhower, your qualifications are impeccable for remaining in it.
Sir, I've been recommended for division command.
I make the command decisions around here. According to General MacArthur, you have one of the best minds in the Army for logistics and organization. I want you in the War Plans Division, where you'll be useful to me. Not up in the front line, stopping a bullet. Good afternoon.
Sir, does that mean I'll be stuck behind a desk for the rest of this war, too?
If I say so, General. Good afternoon. Oh, one other thing, Eisenhower. Even though you may have been recommended for division command, you're going to stay right here at your present rank. And that's that. Don't expect promotion.
General Marshall, I don't give a damn about promotion. I came from the field of this office to do my duty for my country. And I expect to do so as long as you want me. And to hell with rank.
Sir?
On, Charlie. Old man wants to see us right away, Ike. Another meeting.
It's after midnight. It's too late to think.
Not if you got 4 stars.
Let's see some more of that Japanese film intelligence came up with.
I didn't spend 4 years at West Point to sit in an office and watch the old man's newsreels.
Now, Ike, for crying out loud, try not to give him any arguments this time. You know, he's getting a little annoyed with you. Remember, you're in the Army.
I know it. You keep your mouth shut, your brain in a sling, and your powder dry. Ours not to reason why.
Japanese forces stormed the fortress of Corregidor in the Philippines and overran its last few survivors. These recently acquired Japanese films show General Jonathan Wainwright signing the first military surrender in the history of the United States of America. the death march of American prisoners captured with him on Bataan. Reports smuggled out of the Philippines say that almost 50% of the U.S. soldiers in that march did not survive the ordeal.
Enough of that. Gentlemen, how can we make sure it never happens again?
Obviously, by doing everything we can to strengthen the Navy, George.
I would have been disappointed if you hadn't said that, Admiral.
Let me show you why. Our west coast, from Seattle to San Diego, is wide open to attack and invasion. We must immediately write off the war in Europe and shift our fleet out of the Atlantic so that we can bring every ship, every weapon, every man available to the defense of our Pacific coast. This is not my considered opinion alone. I believe this is the opinion of every ranking officer in all the services.
Baloney.
Now, was that your voice I heard?
Sorry, sir, just a private opinion.
Would you care to make it public and give us all the benefit of your one-star wisdom?
Sir, almost every officer in this room is better qualified to speak than I am, if rank is the measure.
Now, you surprised me. You told me yourself you have no regard for rank. We have these informal discussions to encourage independent thinking. If you have anything of value to contribute, it's your duty to do so now.
If you put it that way, sir, I have no choice.
My sword, General.
I'll only use it for self-defense, sir. Hey, I smoke, General. I always think better when I smoke.
If you thought properly, Eisenhower, you wouldn't smoke at all. Well, go ahead.
If Russia is knocked out of the war, gentlemen, we all better start learning German. Now, Europe, not the Pacific, is the only front that all three allies can attack simultaneously. The Russians, the British, and us. Now, the British Isles must be turned into the greatest military base of all time so that from it we can throw the largest amphibious force in history across the English Channel to invade the coast of France.
A lot of our experienced officers say a frontal attack on the massive fortifications across the English Channel would be military suicide.
I'm not advocating an attack tomorrow, sir. But one day soon, America will be mass-producing combat planes by the thousands. The Luftwaffe will be driven from the skies. Our paratroopers will be able to outflank those massive Nazi fortifications so that we can land 1 million men in Hitler's front yard.
The planes you're talking about don't exist. Your whole idea is visionary.
Yes, sir, that's his strongest point, I feel.
Now, Eisenhower, what if I said your whole plan is idiotic?
General Marshall, war is idiotic.
How soon could you leave for London?
Sir?
The President and I have been talking about a plan similar to yours with the British. Are you packed?
Well, General, I never unpack. I'm in the Army.
Women's hair out of uniform.
Oh, with any luck, I should be out of this one shortly.
Damn. Just a minute. I'm coming. Hold it. Kay.
Dick! I'm AWOL. I've been waiting in the car all morning for one of your bloody American generals, and I finally told Sybil I was starving for lunch. Oh, I am starving.
Kay.
Again, that's what I came for.
Kay, I know I'm not very neat, but I do have one rule. Not in the hallway.
Oh, why not? Shake up this stuffy old hotel.
Connaught, it's the finest hotel in London. They still have toilet paper.
darling, you're wounded.
Yeah,
Oh.
but they don't give Purple Hearts for shaving. Still, that's as close to combat as I've come since I got here.
Not true. That was a lovely little battle we had last night.
Kay. Kay, I want you. I'm going to marry you. But I have a staff meeting at 1 o'clock.
There you are, you little beggar. Lost track of you during the night.
Kay, did you hear what I said?
My dear Major Arnold, 2 of my uncles and one of my dearest nieces have been killed in this bloody war already, and they weren't even in uniform. I'm not going to be cheated. All I want is to hold you in my arms a little while, and who knows if either of us will be alive tomorrow. Now we have exactly 30 minutes.
Stop. One of us should say I love you.
I believe it's your turn.
I love you, Kay.
Oh, I love you, Dick. Please, I love you so. Oh, God. That'll be Sybil. I gave her your room number.
What?
Hello? Oh, Sybil, you couldn't be more inconvenient. Well, not quite yet. Oh, damn. Yes, I'll be right there. What's his rank, love? A 2-star? Do you realize I dragged myself out of bed at 5 a.m. and have been waiting the whole bloody morning for him to show up? How dare he have only 2 stars? What's his name? Oh, God, can you spell it? Eisenhower. You sure he's on our side? Yes, I'll be right there. If he was a spy, he would have thought of a much better name. Can you imagine? A 2-star. Sybil's getting half Arnold. He's got 3 going on 4. I always get part of the chicken, goes over the fence last. To be continued. Oh, I'm so sorry. I can't stop to pick it up this time. Put a string on it. General Eisenhower?
Nice try. Eisenhower.
Oh, sorry, sir. I'm absolutely dreadful at foreign languages, especially German. I'm your driver, Kay Summersby.
Well, you're awful at saluting too, Miss Summersby.
I'm a civilian, sir.
And a woman.
Oh.
I'm General Mark Clark. I hope you can pronounce Clark.
Oh, yes. A fine British name. Clark.
Let's go, Willie.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Miss Summersby, would you mind not saluting, if that's what that is?
Bloody Yank. Where to, sir?
The Connaught Hotel.
What? Good Lord.
Miss Summersby, I hate to ask, but do you know where the Connaught Hotel is?
Yes, sir. This is it. For your information, General, I got out of a very warm bed at 5 a.m. to drive you and General Clark no more than 250 yards. It's going to be a tough war for you Americans. I am glad you are saving your strength, sir.
Miss Summersby, like it or not, we are allies. We're going to have to learn how to get along with each other. Now, since the British nation is our host, I suggest you start first. If you're going to drive for us, get rid of that red nail polish. It's unmilitary.
So he's wasting petrol, General.
Begging your pardon, miss. But who are those 2 officers?
I don't know who the taller one is, but the shorter one is Jesus Christ.
Gentlemen. May I present our guests from the War Department in Washington? General Dwight Eisenhower, General Mark Clark.
At ease, gentlemen. At ease. You officers in this room are the vanguard of American forces in England. General Clark and I have been detailed by General Marshall to report on your state of readiness for immediate combat against the German war machine. If what I see here is any indication, all you look ready for is tea time. I've heard this operation has been called the Connaught Country Club. Well, that club is now disbanded. The Atlantic Alliance was not intended to be formed solely with members of the opposite sex. And every officer in this room will get one chance to prove he belongs here. One, that's all. Either measure up or be shipped back to the U.S. For those remaining to participate in the invasion of Europe, I wish Godspeed and good luck.
Well, what do you think? You know, for the first time, I have a strange feeling there's a war on.
Our impulsive American cousins must learn the virtue of patience. They will never succeed in shipping sufficient numbers of men and material to this side of the Atlantic to launch an attack across the English Channel this year or even next year. In the meantime, they must rely on the British General Staff to lead their inexperienced army and navy on the long, slow road to victory.
General Montgomery, shouldn't we work together instead of apart?
General Eisenhower, the British Army and the Royal Navy were winning wars when America was inhabited by naked savages.
Now that we've got our clothes on, maybe you ought to let us help.
And so you shall. But the only attack we can launch, with any possibility of success in the near future, even with America's eager help, is one directed against the German and Italian forces occupying North Africa. Now, this is... May I ask who's smoking?
I am General Montgomery.
I don't permit smoking in my headquarters. You will please extinguish it at once. Is that an unreasonable request?
On the contrary, General, it's the only reasonable remark you've made all morning.
The only practical offensive we can mount in the foreseeable future is against the German and Italian forces occupying North Africa.
But now you've come up with a highly unusual plan for pulling all our forces together in time for a strike across the Channel this year. But the idea of a single commander over all our unified forces in England is not standard operating procedure. You know how the Army feels about anything relatively new. We're still feeding 2,000 mules.
Most of them wearing gold braid.
The present company accepted.
Of course, sir. Eventually, I believe there should be one commander over all Allied forces. In the meantime, the United States should take the first step by eliminating all separate commands of our Army, Navy, and Air Service, and put them all under the command of just one man.
I thought Franklin Roosevelt was Commander-in-Chief of our armed forces.
Well, if you'll excuse me, General, what's his training for the job?
Why don't you ask him? Who do you suggest as that one man to prepare our forces in England for the invasion?
If you're not available, I believe there's only one other truly qualified officer in our entire armed forces, General McNarney.
You are absolutely sure McNarney is the best man?
Not only the best, but outside of yourself, he's the only one qualified.
Eisenhower, I wish I were as certain of what I was going to have for dinner as you are about the future of mankind. Now, don't tell him how to steer his wheelchair.
Joe McNarney? Never. We need him in Washington as Deputy Chief of Staff.
Mr. President, I honestly believe he's the best qualified for the job.
Didn't General Marshall tell you that I concur with his choice?
No, sir.
Well, then, I am delighted to allow my distinguished house guest to reveal this military secret. He enjoys a good surprise as much as I do.
The last time we British surprised the White House, we burned it down. I trust you will not make us want to repeat that gesture. For, by the action your president has taken with my hearty approval, we may well be placing the future of our island in your capable hands.
My hands.
Major General Dwight David Eisenhower is hereby appointed Commanding General of the European Theater and will command all U.S. forces now in or hereafter assigned to the European Theater of Operations. What's the matter, Ike? Don't you want the job?
Of course I want it, Mr. President.
General Eisenhower, you will be preparing men for an invasion such as has never been seen in human history. Because of the demands of war, you will have to make many decisions by yourself, affecting the lives of hundreds of thousands of men. Until this moment, I always thought mine was the loneliest job in the world.